I was sitting on the cold marble floor outside my own sister's wedding hall. My silk dress spread around me like something unwanted, something misplaced. The fabric that had taken weeks to choose and tailor was now wrinkled beneath me, brushing against a row of strangers' shoes. Inside the hall, just a few steps away, happiness thundered through the air. Music loud, laughter louder, joy overflowing as if there were no limits to it at all. But there was a limit, and it was me. The doors were open just enough for me to see everything I wasn't allowed to be part of. Crystal chandeliers reflected warm golden light. Guests sat comfortably on white-covered chairs, sipping drinks, smiling for photos. My sister stood at the center, glowing in her wedding dress, surrounded by applause and praise. Our family looked perfect, united, proud. I wasn't included in that picture. My heels had been taken from my feet earlier and placed near the entrance with a quiet, uncomfortable efficiency, like someone clearing clutter. An aunt passed me, her bangles clinking softly, eyes sliding over me as if I were part of the floor itself. Another relative stepped carefully around me, lifting her dress so it wouldn't touch mine. No one spoke to me. No one asked why I was sitting there, because they all knew. My mother crouched beside me only once. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. She leaned in close enough for her words to sting. "Please," she whispered, glancing nervously toward the hall. "Just sit here. Don't make a scene. You'll ruin the photos if you go in. Ruin the photos. Not disrupt the ceremony. Not cause discomfort. Just ruin the image." I nodded because I didn't trust my voice. I felt my throat tighten, my chest ache with something heavier than sadness. I folded my hands in my lap like a child being punished, staring down at the smooth marble beneath me. It was cold. So cold it seeped through the thin soles of my feet and settled deep in my bones. Every burst of laughter from inside felt like it was aimed directly at me. Every cheer sounded like confirmation that I didn't belong. I tried to convince myself this was temporary, that once the ceremony was over, someone would call me in, offer me a chair, pretend this humiliation never happened. But another voice inside me whispered the truth. They've always known where to put you. Minutes passed, maybe longer. Time stretched strangely when you're trying not to cry in public. I watched shadows move across the doorway. I heard my sister's name repeated again and again, followed by applause. Someone clinked a glass. Someone made a joke. And I sat there, on the floor, outside. Then something shifted. The music didn't stop, but it faltered, just slightly, like a skipped heartbeat. Conversations dipped. The doors opened wider than before, and a hush rippled through the room, subtle but unmistakable. I looked up, expecting another relative, another warning glance, another reminder to stay where I was. Instead, I saw my husband. He stood in the doorway, tall and still, his dark suit perfectly pressed, his posture calm in a way that didn't match the moment. His eyes moved slowly across the hall, taking in the decorations, the guests, the celebration. Then his gaze dropped. It landed on me, sitting on the floor, beside a row of shoes. Outside my sister's wedding, something changed in his face. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quieter than that and far more dangerous. His jaw tightened. His eyes hardened, not with confusion, but with understanding. He didn't rush to me. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't lower his voice or soften his expression. He took one slow step forward into the hall, and I felt it before I understood it. The energy in the room shifting. The kind of shift people sense right before something goes wrong. A few guests noticed. Heads turned. Whispers flickered across the rows of chairs. My mother straightened abruptly. My aunt's smile froze mid-laugh. My husband took another step, then another, calm, measured, unstoppable. In that moment, I realized something sitting there on the cold marble floor. This wasn't just embarrassment anymore. This was a line my family had crossed without thinking there would be consequences. They thought silence meant weakness. They thought sitting on the floor meant submission. They were wrong. Because when my husband finally stopped walking, when he finally opened his mouth to speak, the wedding, the music, the laughter, the perfect image, suddenly felt incredibly fragile. Like glass, already cracked, just waiting for the first real blow. Before we continue, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, from which part of the world are you listening to this amazing story? Because what my husband did next didn't just interrupt a wedding. It exposed a family in front of everyone they were trying so hard to impress.